Guatemalan approach. I found that I preferred the Guatemalan approach.
Watermelon.
I liked the way they remembered and celebrated those who had passed away. Did they celebrate those who were alive? No, they didn't celebrate those who were alive. They celebrated those who had passed away. Did they celebrate those who had passed away? Or those who had become rich? They celebrated those who had passed away. Who celebrated those who had passed away? Guatemalans, right? Guatemalans celebrated those who had passed away. When did they celebrate those who had passed away? On the Day of the Dead, November 1st. On the Day of the Dead, November 1st, they celebrated those who had passed away. Who celebrated? The Guatemalans. The Guatemalan families celebrated. Who did they celebrate? They celebrated those who had passed away. I liked that they acknowledged death instead of denying it the way Americans do. Who liked that they acknowledged death? Yeah, me, AJ.
Me,
right?
AJ.
Me, AJ. I liked that they acknowledged death. Did they acknowledge money? Or did they acknowledge death? They acknowledged death. What did they acknowledge? Death. They acknowledged death. Who acknowledged death? Guatemalans, right? Guatemalans acknowledged death. Did they acknowledge death? Or did they acknowledge money? They acknowledged death instead of denying it. Who denies death? Americans, right? Americans deny death. Do Guatemalans deny death? No, not Guatemalans. Guatemalans don't deny death. Americans deny death. Do I like that Americans deny death? No, I don't. I don't like it. I don't like that Americans deny death.
Americans deny death.
But I like that there is life.
There is life
as well as death. In Guatemalan cemeteries. I liked that.
Guatemalan cemeteries.
Did I like their cemeteries?
Their cemeteries?
Yes, I liked their cemeteries.
What did
I like?
Their cemeteries. Guatemalan.
Their cemeteries. Guatemalan cemeteries. I liked Guatemalan cemeteries. Did I like Guatemalan cemeteries? Or did I like Guatemalan restaurants? I liked Guatemalan cemeteries. Whose cemeteries did I like?
Guatemalans, right?
Guatemalans, right? Guatemalan cemeteries. I liked the Guatemalans cemeteries. Guatemalans cemeteries. Whose cemeteries did I like? The Guatemalans cemeteries. I liked the Guatemalans cemeteries. Guatemalans call it the Day of the Dead.
Guatemalans
but it is also a day to appreciate life.
But
Okay,
it's
that is all
also a day
for this
to
mini story. This was
life.
a very slow
This
and
was
soft
very slow
mini
and
story.
soft
So this mini story is good
this mini
for
story
beginning
is good
level
for beginning level
learners,
for
intermediate learners, for advanced learners.
for advanced.
I use many stories that are much faster and more difficult. But this mini story is for beginners.
Is for beginner. See
Okay.
you next time. Bye
See you next time. Bye bye.
Anh bị sao thế anh?
Who prefer Day of the Dead? I arrive in Guatemala on the Day of the Dead, November 1st. I'm curious about this holiday, so I go to the cemetery to see what's happening. What I find is quite interesting. The atmosphere is like a party. There are people everywhere. Families are sitting around the graves of their dead ancestors. They clean the graves and add fresh flowers. I walk through the cemetery and admire the beauty of all the colorful flowers. There's also color in the sky because many kids are flying kites. Some families are having a picnic next to the graves. They eat, drink, and chat together. People laugh and smile. In the United States, cemeteries are always somber. We certainly never have festivals or parties next to graves. We don't laugh or play music or fly kites in cemeteries either. I find that I prefer the Guatemalan approach. I like the way they remember and celebrate those who have passed away. I like that they acknowledge death instead of denying it the way Americans do. I like that there is life as well as death in their cemeteries. Guatemalans call it the Day of the Dead, but it is also a day to appreciate life. Okay, this is the vocabulary for Day of the Dead. So Day of the Dead. I arrive in Guatemala on the Day of the Dead, November 1st. I'm curious about this holiday. Holiday is the normal word we use for festival. Some people say festival, but holiday is more common. Christmas is a holiday. Halloween is a holiday. So holiday is common word. The most common word we use. Okay, so I say, I'm curious about this holiday, so I go to the cemetery. Cemetery is a place for dead people. Okay, many dead people in a cemetery. So that's what a cemetery is, right? A place for dead people, cemetery. It's a large area, usually.